Hello, everybody, and warm welcome to Klikko's webinar SEO Basics, a beginner's guide on how to get more traffic from Google. My name is Manne Högström, and I'm an SEO specialist here at Klikko, and I will be your host today. A little bit about Klikko first. We're a full-scale SEO agency based in Copenhagen, Denmark. We have SEO specialists, editors, and more than 200 copywriters under our umbrella. We service customers in Danish, Swedish, Norwegian, Finnish, English, and in German. And we have our own set of SEO tools for link building called Search Royals and SEO analysis called I10. We will return to those later on in the presentation. Right now, more than 700 businesses use our services, and more than 80% of them have top 3 positions for their critical keywords. And at our disposal, we have more than 55,000 unique sites for link building, which is one of our specialties. So let's jump into it. What is SEO, or search engine optimization? Well, basically, it is techniques to make your site get traffic from search engines and mainly Google. Why? Because more than 4 billion users worldwide uses Google. And the average user Googles 3 to 4 times every single day. And Google has more than 90% of the search engine market share. That's why we focus on them. But everything that you learn in this presentation, if you apply it, that will also help you on Bing, Yahoo, and the other search engines. So that's just an added bonus. The basic premise of Google is that they want to give the best answer to any given question. And so, if you get better at answering questions, they give you better rankings or positions on Google. And that in turn gives you more traffic to your website. And why is that? Well, it boils down to this thing called click-through rate, which is the percentage of users that sees a site on Google's search results and then clicks on that link. And research shows that the higher up, the higher click-through rate you get. And the first position normally gets around 27.6% of all the clicks, while the position 10, the bottom of the first page of Google, only gets roughly 2.4%. So it shows how important it is to be at the top. And this is just to illustrate like what these positions actually mean. So position 1, you can see there at the top, this will get roughly 27.6% of the clicks, and then descending. And to get to the top of Google, you have to do SEO, or search engine optimization, which consists of 3 main pillars. You have technical SEO, you have content, and then you have off-page SEO. And we will go through all of them in turn in this presentation, starting with technical SEO. Now, keep in mind that technical SEO is a very wide and broad subject, but we will focus on 3 of the main areas that you need to keep in check to get good positions. And those are crawling and indexing, which is how Google finds and indexes or stores your content. It is about the technical aspects of user experience, and it is about mobile optimization. But we're going to start with the fundamental of how Google actually finds your content, and this is called crawling and indexing. Google uses a program called Googlebot, which scours the entire internet for information, and it visits all the websites and copies all their information. And it works something like this, that Googlebot comes to your site, normally to your home page, and then it reads through and copies all of that content, and then it clicks all the links that you have on your home page and goes to those new pages, and then it copies that content and goes through those links, and so it finds all the content on your site, copies all of that information and stores it in a big catalog that they call the Google index. And then when a user goes to Google and performs a search, that search is sent to the index, and Google applies all their algorithms and decides which sites will end up in the search results to answer the user. But if Googlebot cannot find a page, Google will not index it, and that is the main thing that we're starting with. How to help Googlebot find all your pages. And you can do this in two main ways. And the first and best way is to use good internal links on your site. So any page that you have on your site that you want Google and users to see, you have to have internal links pointing to them. And the other way is to have a sitemap, which is basically a big text document that details all the URLs in a big long list that you want Google to visit. And this sitemap you upload to Google through Google Search Console, which is a free tool, and I hope that all of you have it installed and use it frequently. It is a great source of information about your site, so you just upload your sitemap through here if you didn't do it already. The most common problems with indexing is that a page doesn't have internal links, but it can also be things like that you accidentally have put a no index tag on the page, which tells Google not to include it in its index. But it can also be things like that the content is too thin, meaning you don't have enough words on the page, because words are what Google uses to understand what a page is about. But luckily enough, there are lots of good tools that you can use to find all the problems that you might have with indexing. One of them is actually Google Search Console, and it lists the problems that it finds why it will not index a certain page that it has encountered on your site. And then there are external tools like Screaming Frog that is a little bit more complex to get into, but once you do, it gives a super good, detailed and granular overview of all the problems concerning technical stuff that you might have on your site. We strongly recommend you looking into Screaming Frog if you didn't already. Then we come to user experience, which is that you have to make sure that your site behaves user-friendly. And this is mainly to keep users on your site so that they consume your content and hopefully in the end convert, become a customer or download whatever you want them to download or contact you to get a quote or something like that. And the technical aspects of this is load times, layout shifts, and accessibility. If you didn't encounter them, we will go through them in turn. I don't think that you or anyone that you know likes when you see this on a screen ever. And the fact is that if a page loads in 3 seconds before it's completed loading instead of 1, the bounce rate increases by 32%. And the bounce rate is how many visitors come to your site, but then they just leave before doing anything because, basically if the site didn't load fast enough or there's any other problem with the page to make it irrelevant for the user, they go back to Google. In the worst case scenario, they click on your on your competitor. But that is a bounce when they just leave your site. So speed is very, very critical here. Layout shifts, I think it's best to explain it with an example. You might come to a site and see this heading, and then suddenly, whoa, it changes font and size, which can be confusing, or maybe suddenly an image loads, moving away the content that you're looking at. This creates frustration and many times creates a bounce. I don't know if you can see this, but at the middle of the screen it actually says accessibility. And this whole thing is about that everybody should be able to use and consume the content on your site no matter what impairment they might have, such as poor eyesight, for example. You have to keep fonts big enough and the contrast ratios wide enough so that you can actually see and read or listen through a screen reader to all the content that you want your users to be able to consume. And finally, mobile optimization is a concept that came last, I don't remember how many years now, but basically more than 50% of all web traffic right now comes from mobile phones. And so this has caused Google to use the mobile version of websites for their indexing when they crawl and they look at your content. So it's really, really important, and when you develop a site or when you create new content, that you also look at it from a mobile viewpoint, so you can see that it looks good on mobile, because there's a high chance that most of your visitors actually come from mobiles, and definitely that Google will evaluate your site based on the mobile experience. So there are lots of tools, we talked about them a little bit before, that you can use to help you out with a technical process, like Google Search Console or Google Lighthouse. And there's also another favorite called Page Speed Insights, where you can just bang in whatever URL you want, either yours or a competitor's, and it will evaluate that URL from many, many different viewpoints, like how fast it loads, how user-friendly it is, if it is adhering to Google's SEO best practices, etc. Strongly recommend that you give this one a check. And some other external tools that you can use to audit your site. We talked about Screaming Frog, but you can also use sites like Ahrefs, or if you have a larger e-commerce site, it might be useful with a tool like Lumar that is adapted for sites that might have millions of URLs that you want to audit. So to summarize technical SEO, you have to make sure that Google can find and index your content, and you do this using your sitemaps and internal links. Then you analyze what pages are not indexed, figure out why they're not indexed, and then you prioritize fixing that. You also have to make sure that your site loads as fast as it can without compromising on the quality. That's important to point out, and that it behaves in a user-friendly way. No sudden shifts with images and texts moving around. And finally, use your mobile version as your baseline when you're developing new pages or a completely new site. Right, content SEO then. Also a very broad topic, but we're gonna address it from three of the most common aspects of it, and that is keyword analysis, we have content optimization, and finally site structure. Keywords is whatever a user types into Google when they perform a search. It can be both a single word or a long string of words. All of them are called keywords. And different keywords have different search intent. And that is like, what is the goal of the search that someone is performing? And we as SEOs, we want to target relevant keywords for our business or for your business if you're doing it yourself. And this is just an example of how different search intents can look like for very similar keywords. We have PlayStation 5 review on the one side and PlayStation 5 price. The left side shows searches with commercial intent. Someone is doing research. They want to see reviews. So it is just review sites that is showing up in the search results. While on the other side, when they want to know the price of the product, they probably want to buy it. Then it is e-commerce sites that sells the product that pops up. So then, keyword analysis is about identifying the keywords that are important to you and your business, how high the search volume it is, your rankings, doing a content analysis, and finally figuring out the keyword difficulty. And we're going to go through each of these parts in turn. Well, first of all, normally what you do is you start out with a keyword document that you're going to use for this process to properly document it and save your insights so you can use them for later. We're going to fill this out as we go along. And to do a keyword analysis, you need a good tool. And these are 4 tools that we recommend. Our own i10, we have SEMrush, Ahrefs, or Moz Keyword Explorer. And we're going to use some of them in the examples coming up now. The first step that you want to do is that you try to list all your important keywords. And just start out by thinking, what do you think that your customers write when they look for your services or products? And then you put them into the document like this. Now we're going to use an e-commerce store for electronics as an example. So we have some examples here on the right side. Then you put those keywords into the keyword tool, and it's going to give you the search volumes for those keywords. And that is how often per month on average does people actually look for those things. So we can see that PlayStation 5 has 196,000 searches every month. You put that into the document. Then you want to see your own rankings for those keywords, and the tools will help you with that as well. And we can see an example here on the right from Ahrefs, because the higher up that you already are for a certain keyword, the easier it's going to be to climb even higher. So you want to document that too. And then you can also take a sneak peek at your competition. So you put your competitor in the tool, and the tool will show you what keywords they are visible for, what pages they have on their site that is the most lucrative for them. Use this as an inspiration. If you can find pages that your competitors have that you don't, you probably want to have that too. So now we've been filling out the document. We have some of the keywords here on the left, and we have listed the pages that you have on your site that corresponds to that keyword. But we can see that this site didn't even have a page for mobile phones, so they need it. So we mark that. And we have the rankings and the volumes for the keywords. And we move on to content analysis. Google, you might think that you have a keyword, you know what would be the best content for that keyword. That might be true, or it might not be. And Google is a great source to find that information, because generally Google puts the best content on top. So if you just put whatever keyword you're aiming at into Google, and then you look at the top 3 results, that's a quite good answer to what users are expecting to find when they search for that. What makes them the best answers? It's tied to this search intent that we talked about before. So you want to go to these pages and you want to try to analyze what type of pages they are. Is it a product page like the one on top there, or is it a category page like the one we see on the bottom right here? It could be a service page, maybe a blog, or an educational page. There are many different types of pages, but take note of this. And then you want to see what elements do the top spots include. Are there common things that exists on all the top pages? And probably you need them to get your page to the top as well. And it can be like images, videos, guides, reviews, product descriptions, maybe they have a contact form, whatever. Take note of these common elements. And this ties to how they actually solve the person's problems. And then, as we talked about before, they can only read words on the pages. So you can use a tool like i10 to figure out how many words on average does the top spot have. How much have they written? And what you want to do is you just want to top that up a little bit. So if they have 700 words written, then you want to write 800, just to make your page a little bit more thorough. So now we're almost finished with our keyword documents. We completed it with what kind of page it is, what elements those pages contain, the minimum amount of words that we will need for our page, and then we also include the top 3 competitors just so we can go there for inspiration. There's just one column left called referring domains, which ties into the keyword difficulty, which looks at backlinks or referring domains, RD as it's abbreviated. And backlinks, it is when another site links to your site. And this, in Google's eyes, validates your site as trustworthy and relevant, and it's one of the most important ranking factors and one of the most trickiest one to navigate through. You can use a tool like I10 to figure out how many sites actually link to your competition, because that is what you will need to beat as well, besides the content. And there we have it, the finished keyword document. And this, if you want to do a keyword analysis and a difficulty analysis, this is what you need to do to get as much information as you need to go about when you actually start optimizing your site. You generally want to prioritize from all these keywords high volume keywords with purchase intent, because that is what's going to bring in the business. Start by going after the low hanging fruits where you might already have good rankings for some keywords. If the content level is easy, like you don't need to produce big videos or guides or something like that, it's going to be easy to create those pages. And where the competition is weak, where they don't have that much backlinks. And then for the long term, you want to go after the keywords that might be like with high volume and high purchase intent, because those are generally high competitive as well. Your competition is going to have a lot of backlinks, etc. And the pages are going to have advanced content on their site. But aim for them in the long run. Yeah, aim high. So to summarize, you want to find the most relevant keywords for your business, analyze what kind of content is the best for each keyword, and figure out how strong the competition is. And then you start with your content optimization. And we're going to go into more like focus on the text part of content optimization, because that is what's most important to Google. So we start off with the headings. Like the main heading on any page is normally the H1. It's tagged up with H1 tag. You have to use your main keyword here in some format, but make the heading snappy so it actually makes the user want to stay and read through your content. And then for the rest of the headings in your site, it's good if you use your main keyword, but you can use synonyms, etc. But try to remember to keep it user-friendly. You don't want to write for search engines. You write for the user first. And then in the body text, also write for the user first. Use keywords and synonyms in a natural way. And there's been numbers thrown around like how many percentage of a text should be a main keyword. There is no magic number. But if you need to go after something, I would recommend maybe 2 or 3%. But don't overdo it. Remember, user first. The important thing is that you want your content to be more comprehensive and better at answering the user's question than your competition. That's the main thing. Image alt text. This is, every image has the possibility of having an alt text tag connected to it. And this is basically a piece of code that tells Google what the image is about, but it's also used with screen readers when people that doesn't have basically people that use screen readers, then they read out, this is an image of blah, 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 blah. And if you include your keywords there, well, it's both good for the visitor, but it also can effectively put that image in Google's image search for that specific search. And this can also be a source of traffic for your site. The URL, try to use the main keyword here, if possible. Keep them as short as possible and as user-friendly as possible, because sometimes sites will use the URL as a link when they link to you. And if you have your keyword in that text, well, it tells Google that your page is probably relevant for that keyword. So don't miss out on that opportunity. Meta title is actually the most important text snippet for SEO, and that is like the title for all your links that goes through the Google search results, and it tells both Google and the user what your page is about. You need to chuck your main keyword at the beginning of the meta title and then add a click-friendly tagline straight after it to make someone want to click your link. The meta description straight below the title, this has no direct impact on SEO. It will never move a ranking, but it can, if you write a good meta description, it can raise the click-through rate. It can make people want to click your site, and that in turn is a good signal to Google. So indirectly, it can affect your rankings. Structured data is a way for you to, in code, tell Google what your page is about. It gives like direct information. If you have a product page, you can write in code to Google that this product costs X amount of crowns or dollars or whatever. Our reviews tell it that it has a 4.6 average score out of 13 reviews or something like that. There is structured data available for many types of pages, products, and services. And in the end, if you implement this correctly, the result can look like what you see here on the right, that these search results actually have the ratings shown. They have the cooking times for the recipes, or there's even a snippet from the video at the bottom. And this is extremely good for the click-through rate. You will get more clicks if you implement this. So if you haven't done it already, do it now. There's the link to the resource from Google on how to do it and the different types of structured data you can implement. And finally, a little bit about the non-text content, like videos, forms, or nice call to actions, or infographics, and things like, well, things that Google can't really read or see themselves, but they can create engagement. And if you keep users on your site, keep them engaged, that is a positive signal for Google. And site structure, like this is how both Google's bot and the users navigate through your site. You want to keep it logical and as shallow as possible. This means that if a person starts, or Googlebot starts on the home page of your site, they should be able to reach any page that you have with as few clicks as possible. So create a logical hierarchy for your users and for Google, and it will help your SEO rankings as well as well, how users behave on your site. And then always remember to use the keywords for the pages that you lead users to. You use the main keyword for that page as an anchor text. And we have an example here on the right where you have like the home page linking to a category page for headphones, laptops, and mobiles. And if you go to the mobile page, you will be able to go further onto the iPhone mobile page, the Samsung mobile phone page, and the Huawei mobile phones page. And then they list the telephones in those subcategory pages. Perfect for users, perfect for Google. So to summarize, use keywords in a user-friendly way consistently through all text elements and all the meta information like titles, meta descriptions, and the alt text for images. Try to be more comprehensive than your competition when you write text on your page. And implement structured data so you get those nice, beautiful, rich snippets, as they are called, and create a clear and logical site structure. Boom! Final topic of Page SEO, which is everything that happens outside of your site. Also, very broad topic, but we're going to talk about 3 important parts of it, which is the Google Business Profile, formerly known as Google My Business, EEAT, and backlinks. So, Business Profile. If you don't have it already, set one up. It's basically free business listings on Google Maps, and I'm sure you've all used them at some point. It's fairly easy to get rolling with it. You just need to use your whatever business you have as your main keyword for the business, and then fill in as many nice photographs and information from your business as possible. And then after that is done, make sure that all of your happy customers go to that profile and review you there. and answer all the reviews, both the positive ones and the negative ones, because that's a really, really good signal to both Google and other users. And try to be consistent with NAP, name, address, and phone number. So whatever information is on Google Business Profile is also on your site, and all other external listings that you might have, like Niro in Sweden, or whatever local business listings you have in your country, as well as Facebook or LinkedIn and all the profiles that your business is listed at. Consistency is key here. This is especially important if you run a business that is localized, like a hairdresser or a store that someone can visit. And it's not a replacement, but only a complement to the normal SEO that we've been talking about in this presentation so far. EEAT, Google loves these abbreviations. It stands for expertise, experience, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. I had to read this from my papers. Basically, Google wants all the information that they show in the top to be validated somehow, that the sender of that information is a trustworthy source of information. And the only way to become a trustworthy source of information is when other sites sort of talks about you or your experts in a positive manner, so that you show that you actually know what you're talking about. A lot about the external signals tied to the company. And the more authoritative the source of that information is, the stronger the signal is. And it's especially important for YMYL sites, which is your money or your life. So all sites that can somehow impact a person's financial situation or his or her health. But it is important for all sites. But yeah, someone else has to refer to you. It doesn't matter that you on your page say, we are the best at this or that. If no one else confirms it, it won't matter. It's like how we people work, like in everyday life as a normal person. Then we come to backlinks, which is probably the trickiest part of SEO. This is when other sites refer to your site with a link. It's a positive ranking signal, and it's one of the strongest signals that Google has. The stronger the site that links to you, the stronger the signal is. And it's absolutely necessary to get top positions. Without backlinks, you will not get anywhere. So how do you get them? Well, there are two main branches. Either you can earn them or you can pay for them. And the earned link strategies, they are normally that either you get links from your partners or your suppliers, happy clients, you might do digital PR campaigns, or one popular strategy has always been that if you provide great content on your site, people will naturally link to it. Or you can do guest posting, that you write the content on someone else's site and you get a referring link back to your web page through that blog post. But the pros of earned link building is that if you do it right, it can be very good for your brand. You pop up in articles or places where people normally visit. It gives a good impression. It normally improves relationships with the sites that are linking to you, and you might also get traffic from those links that you earn. The cons is that it can be extremely time-consuming to do these projects, and you never have any guarantees that you will get any links, no matter the project that you do. And this is why a lot of people turn to paid links, which is basically when you pay a company or a provider for links that they put on sites that they control and link to you. this is the only real way to guarantee getting links, and you can pinpoint where those links go to. Like say you want to boost that PlayStation 5 page specifically, then you can buy a link and point it to that page. But the cons are that it's actually against Google's guidelines, and it has a low brand impact. Normally, the paid links exists on articles that people generally don't read. I mean, normally they are tagged with a sponsored tag, and if you read that, see a sponsored tag on an article, do you read it? I don't know. I don't. People generally don't. Well, to figure out how and if paid links actually work, we did the largest case study in the Nordics, where we took 4 equal sites, we built them up from scratch, and then we gave them an equal amount of money to spend on 4 separate link building strategies, and then we evaluated the results after 1.5 years. And the results were quite astounding, and we have this case study. I'm gonna tell you how you can get your hands on it after this presentation, because we used our own tool as well to build these different links with those 4 strategies. And you can, if you mail me after this webinar, you can get access to the full case study as well as 1 month free subscription to this link building tool, and then you can make up your own mind if whatever strategy is most viable for you. But it works, and you will see if you read the case study. So to summarize off-page SEO, set yourself up with a Google business profile if you didn't do it already. Get yourself verified as a trusted site or source of information from external signals. You need to build links, either from paid or you need to earn them. You can do both as well if you want to, but you have to choose one. You just have to build links, because without them you will never ever reach the top positions of Google. All right, another summary. So technical. Use sitemaps and internal links to help Google find and index your content. Check for problems like speed, user experience, and mobile friendliness. When it comes to content, find the most relevant keywords for your business, analyze what content users and Google like, and then you optimize your content according to that analysis. When it comes to off-page, set up your Google business profile. Validate your company and experts through external sources, feeding into EEAT. And most importantly, execute a link building strategy, either from paying, earning, or both together. That's it. Any questions? All right, we're gonna have our tech master Linus read out the questions for us.
Yes, hello everyone. I'm gonna start with a question from Lisa. How do I know that my mobile version is good?
Yeah, so before Google actually had the mobile friendly test, they do not anymore actually, but it says in Google Search Console, it will tell you if you have problems on your mobile version or not. Google Search Console is your friend there.
All right. We also have a question from Nadine, who asks, how do I get a better ranking for a specific keyword?
If you want one specific keyword to rank better, then you can build backlinks specifically to that page, because you need to have a page that is dedicated to that keyword. And you build links to that page externally, but as well internally, because your home page, like the starting page of your website, is always the strongest. So if there is one specific page that you need to boost, then you can also link to it from your home page, and as well from other pieces of content on your site. If you have blog articles, then you can link to that page from relevant blog articles, for example. You create like a network of internal links pointing to the pages that are most important to you.
All right. Mustafa asks, short and sweet, is Screaming Frog expensive?
I think Screaming Frog costs around 200 euros per year.
So that depends.
It depends. I mean, yeah, if you are a small site, then probably Google Search Console is enough for you. But if you have a larger site, especially e-commerce sites that can have complex problems with their technical SEO, then Screaming Frog is a go-to tool.
All right. Martin asks, if I answer all the questions on my website and Google just shows them directly in the results page, would that just make me miss out on a click?
If I understand correctly, it is if you directly answer a question in such a way that Google picks it up and shows it in the featured snippet, which you can sometimes see at the top of the search results. You can ask a question and there will be like an answer box with rich information at the top of Google. They are called featured snippets. And for sure, if a user feels like they got what they needed there, then they won't click to your site. And that is, it's both a blessing and a curse to get the featured snippet, because it's good for your branding if user sees that you are the source of that information. But yes, you can also miss out on the click.
I hope that answers the question, Martin. If not, you are more than welcome to elaborate in the chat. Casper asks, how do I create a meta title that generates clicks?
Oh, yeah. So normally your CMS is where you actually type in your meta title. You can optimize it in different ways. You can actually go to ChatGPT and ask them to give you a list of suggestions. You can go to the top 3 results of Google and see what they wrote there. You can test out different meta titles using ads, because they are formatted similarly to what the search results are. So you can see like what combination of words and information and like this the call to action that you put there, what works the best. So there are definitely different ways to go about and testing them. You can also just ask people, do user testing and see what is the most appealing.
But should they be almost borderline clickbaity, or is it better to just have your keyword and the actual subject in there?
No, I mean, there should be some kind of incentive for a person to click on that. So you cannot just have like mobile. If you have a mobile phones page, for example, you can't just write mobile phones and nothing else. You could, but it doesn't say very much. It could be like mobile phones dash deals and prices and deals from X amount of stores, or something that gives a little bit richer information what a person might find on your page. And as well, that tagline, you can include words that it's like a build on thing on keywords that is like long tail keywords, because people, they don't always write just mobile phones. They might like write best deals on mobile phones. So then you can write mobile phone, find the best deals here, for example. Then you can get those long tail keywords, and as well the meta title is appealing for those users. But it's different for all the for different categories of pages. Like these transactional pages might have different types of meta titles that are better than if you're on informational keywords like SEO guide, the 14 best tips for 2024. That might be more appealing than just having SEO guide as a title and nothing more. It's like giving some incentive for someone to come and visit your site. And you can enrich this with a meta description under the title to sort of fill out with more information there.
But can you overdo it? Let's say you wrote amazing offers, buy now, only for one day.
Yeah, you have to realize that Google doesn't pick up those meta titles immediately. So you cannot just, today I'm going to have this meta title and write it, because it will take a while for Google to recrawl your page and change whatever meta title is shown in the search results. So don't do time sensitive stuff as meta titles. But okay, I think it's time to round it up. So if you have any more questions, either write them now, or you can as well mail them to me at manne@klikko.e, and I will try to answer them afterwards. So, and as well, a reminder, if you're interested in seeing that case study as well, just write it to me, and you will get that as well as a month-free subscription to Search Royals, and you can mess about and look in that platform, see if there are any links that could help you, but I'm sure there is. All right. Thanks so much for me and everybody here at Klikko, and big ups to Linus, our amazing technician that has been helping us here today and being a beautiful question reader out there. Until next time.